Netflix's Sweet Home is the perfect series to binge for horror and action fans. With Song Kang taking on the lead role of Cha Hyun-soo in Sweet Home, the series became a hit and remains to this day one of Netflix's best K-dramas. Sweet Home was based on a webtoon of the same name by Kim Carnby and Hwang Young-chan, with Season 1 of the series using the source material in its entirety. Because of this, the two installments of the zombie show were original storylines, which might account for why Sweet Home's last two seasons drew a lot of criticism. The Netflix K-drama isn't flawless, as mistakes were made in Seasons 2 and 3. This includes introducing too many characters and sidelining Song Kang's Cha Hyun-soo. That being said, Sweet Home is a very fun horror series with action elements, making it a show that fans of both genres should add to their watch list. Sweet Home is one of the best zombie shows on Netflix. Song Kang as Hyun-soo holding a bladed weapon in Sweet Home. Netflix has several zombie TV K-dramas in its library, including Kingdom, Happiness, and All of Us Are Dead, with Sweet Home ranking as one of its best. Centering around the residents of Green Home, a dilapidated apartment complex that gets invaded by zombie-like monsters, Sweet Home is filled with twists, thrills, and terrifying scenes. This isn't necessarily a typical zombie show because while it may have undead creatures, they do not have a human-like appearance. However, Sweet Home's apocalyptic themes, rapid spread of people turning into monsters, violence, gore, action, and fight for survival, are themes that mirror shows in the same genre. Sweet Home added a fresh spin to the genre, but what really made it one of Netflix's most popular Korean shows is how the characters were written, particularly in Season 1. Hyun-soo is a moody teenager who is easy to dislike, and Lee Eun-hyuk's logical reasoning can come off as cold, but they are both fleshed-out characters, which makes it easy to root for them. Sweet Home's monsters are not your typical zombie creatures. Cha Hyun-soo, Song Kang, with his large monster arm in Sweet Home Season 3. Image via Netflix. While the creatures in Sweet Home eat flesh and kill humans, just like typical zombies, they are actually quite different from the latter. Not only do Sweet Home's monsters, which range from terrifying eyeballs to winged creatures, not look like the zombies we are used to seeing in such shows, but they also have a very unusual origin. Seeing as Sweet Home shares several similarities with zombie stories, it's easy to assume that the monster outbreak was a result of a virus. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. Instead of a virus or a chemical origin, Sweet Home's monsters came to be because of a curse. Basically, the curse revealed the worst traits of a person. If people were to fight the infection, like Hyun-soo, who became a neo-human, then they wouldn't turn into a monster, and if they didn't, then they would succumb to the curse and fully transform. While most zombies in TV shows are the same, the creatures in Sweet Home aren't because they take on the characteristics of their human selves. Yoo Myung, for instance, transformed into a slime monster because he wanted to work from the shadows. But what truly fueled the monster transformation more than anything else is rage. Those who were able to keep their emotions at bay survived the monstification process and had a semblance of control over when they would turn. Sweet Home was one of the first of many Netflix original horror K-dramas. Hanny with Cursed Eyes in Season 2 of Sweet Home. In 2019, Kingdom, the first Netflix original horror K-dramas debuted on the platform. Kingdom's success opened the door for other shows in the genre, as it became a critically acclaimed series that audiences also enjoyed. A year later, Sweet Home premiered on Netflix and made history as the first Korean show to appear in the streamer's global top 10. Sweet Home and Kingdom's success proved that Netflix had discovered a very promising niche. So it's not surprising that the streaming giant invested in other horror K-dramas like All of Us Are Dead, which is undoubtedly its best zombie K-drama, Hellbound, and Happiness. With the success of these shows, it goes without saying that we should expect more Netflix original horror K-dramas. Why Sweet Home is the perfect show for a binge-watch weekend. Lee Eun-yu, Go Minute-sai, looking furious in Sweet Home Season 3. Sweet Home has 3 seasons, with a total of 18 episodes, so it's fairly easy to get through. The episodes are relatively long, ranging from 45 to 87 minutes, but they can be watched in just a couple of days. The show is evenly paced, with its first episode drawing you in with action and suspense.